And we are now back. We're going to go say good morning to Bill Callahan. Hi, Bill.
Randy.
How are you, sir?
I'm pretty well this morning, but I'm a little concerned, to say the least. To the point I have to challenge you seriously on two very important issues.
Okay.
One of them was your statement yesterday with regard to the budget, or to the budget deficit, I should say.
All right.
Excuse me, in your roads and schools and so on. So what you were doing, in fact, was approving the budget deficit by saying that, well, look, all we did all these good things, and we got a deficit, but look at all the good things we're enjoying. Now, Randy, that is the antithesis of good budget management. And I know a little bit whereof I speak. It's a long time ago, but I've been involved in the budget process and run the Treasury Board, and a couple of times had to do with the preparation of the budget. So I'm not talking off the top of my head.
Right.
The secret of the budget is that you say what you're going to do, and you put a price tag or price tags on it. And
then you do it.
Well, no, not yet. You present it to the House of Assembly, and you get it approved. And now it becomes, in effect, law, and brings into play something called the Financial Administration Act, which requires that everything approved by the House under the budget be done precisely as approved, no deviation. You are not allowed strictly to take a single dollar from one head of expenditure and use it in another. It's a crime. It's against the law. So what happens with budget over expenditure, which we call deficit, is that the amount of money that was budgeted and approved by law and comes under the scrutiny of the House and becomes subject to the Financial Administration Act, that is, in effect, the law. And if you go over it, you've got to have a darn good reason. And the only good reasons are things like, say, emergencies, where you have to have special warrants to go to the governor to be signed, or you have to have contractors who go over their bid, and if it's acceptable to allow them to do that, you can cover that as well with a special warrant. But essentially, the budget becomes a matter of law. This is the legal spending by the province in a given year. So for us to say, oh, well, that's all right, because look at all the good things we did by overshooting the budget, that is not a tenable
except that is a simplification of the reality of the circumstance. That's not quite what you're saying. No. What you're saying, Bill, is, with all, as they say now in politics, with all due respect, that's a misinterpretation of what's implied here. In reality, the reality of it goes like this. All right, it goes like this. You project a certain revenue stream that you anticipate you're going to have, and it's based on that projection that you go ahead and approve your spending.
That's not so, Randy. The budget.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Binding.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that as well. But if and here's the challenge, I suppose. If the money were wasted, I think there would be a big. Well, it's like, here's the thing. Classic example, and I'll get it as simple as this. You got a credit card, and you went in debt on the credit card. You owed $14,000 on the credit card, and at the end, you looked around and said, you know what, I got $14,000 built up in debt, and I haven't got a thing to show for it. I spent it on booze and golf and fun and good times and
are
records.
You telling me that's good? That's a good thing?
No. So you throw that. So you look at it like that and you say, that's really stinking rotten debt. Now I'm in trouble. Now you look at it on the other side and say, I got a $14,000 debt on my credit card, but you know what? I built the deck. I paved my driveway. I shingled my house. I improved, and that's where that money.
It doesn't matter if you couldn't.
I think there's a critical difference in it. And by the way, nobody set out in defense of the government to say we're going to do this. We don't care whether we can afford it or not.
You don't have to set out. You can do it accidentally if you like. But look, I don't want to run out of time here. I have to mention your statement this morning, which is completely wrong, that Muskrat is not impacting the budget or the government's finances.
I never said that. I believe that it does. I'm saying it is not the principal reason for this deficit.
I don't know what you mean by principal. If you did, and I realize you're probably on the air, If you had been at the annual meeting of Nalcor last year, they presented a bunch of information. It wasn't very informative, unfortunately, but people asked questions. I did, Danny Dumas did, others did, and what we discovered was that the government had taken nearly $1 billion, I think it was $863 million that we knew of to that point, dollars out of the cash register and handed over to Nalcor. Now, this money came out of government day-to-day operating funds. It wasn't specially borrowed or anything like that. They took that money and they gave it to Nalcor, and they had other money budgeted to give to Nalcor.
Which are going to give to Nalcor.
I beg pardon?
And they're going to give more to Nalcor.
I'm going to give more to Nalcor. Now, the point is that if you take that money out of your budgeted funds and give it to another purpose, and I question really the legality of that under the Financial Administration Act, if you do that, then you run your ordinary accounts short. I mean, if you're down on Water Street in a store and you got, say, $500 receipts today and the money's in the cash register, and instead of putting it in the bank, making your, I don't know, go and play bingo with it, I mean, that is not good money management. Now, we don't know how much money Nalcor has gotten so far. That was close to $1 billion that was wormed out of the information that day, but they've been doing it over and over again since, letting contracts without tenders. We don't know what SNC Lavalin is doing. All of these things are happening day by day by day, and there's no public accounting because it's all been shut down, not subject to the Auditor General, all the rest. So we don't know how much money. But yesterday I heard... Okay, well,
I got to wrap up. 20 seconds. I got to go to news.
Very quickly. I heard Carol Furlong say yesterday, well, you know what happened with Hebron? We agreed to put $100 million into Hebron, but Hebron has escalated in cost, and now it's up to $600 or $700 million that we have to invest in Hebron. Now, are you going to tell me that that doesn't affect our day-to-day cash availability?
Yes, it does.
Obviously, it does.
Yes, it does. Never argued that. Never argued that it didn't. But the question of the day, which is what we were talking about, was, is the principal reason for this deficit Muskrat Falls? And I still insist that the answer to that is no. Well, it's not the principal reason. I'm not saying it's not one.
$1 billion given to Nalcor exceeds the projected deficit that we're looking at now. So if that money hadn't been given to Nalcor, then we would not have a deficit in this year, arguably.
Arguably, that could be the case.
I mean, that's plain as the nose on
your face.
Somebody's face.
Bill Callahan, got to end there. Got to end there. Good points. Good point. You make good arguments.
Be very careful how we characterize this stuff, because it's getting us into, I would say, heaps and heaps of trouble. And it's going to take us until 2017 or something to start getting out if Muskrat goes ahead and if we get any revenue out of it.
Good to talk with you, brother.
Here, my son.
Take care. Bye-bye.